Biology 1441 students, the upcoming lab may be one of your favorite labs or one of the more challenging labs for you, depending on how well you like going out in the woods. So your mission this week is to work in lab groups. So your instructor will be assigning you to those groups. I'll let them figure that part out. But what you're going to do is go to the Jmnr Nature Reserve on campus. Where is that, you may ask? Well, here's the Hyper Center. Up here's the football stadium. So right there is the nature reserve, this wooded area. And there's even a prairie there. A remnant of the original prairie that was in this area is still there. It's a treasure that you should really take advantage of. It's truly is a jewel of the campus. Now you're going to go there, and once you're there, you're going to try to find various bits of biological diversity. So if you go to the lab website and you go to the nature reserve link there. So let's just go to the lab website so you can see what I'm talking about. You'll go down here to the A and B. So both A and B are online that week, meaning at home or at the nature reserve in this case. And you'll click here on animal and plant diversity. Here's a reminder of where it is. There's a video already up on how to identify various kinds of insects, and this video will be there, as well as this treasure hunt form. You're going to download that form. So you'll click here and it'll open the form, and you want to click here and download it, and you want to have that with you. Okay. I would have a copy of that with me or have it open on my phone while you're hunting around. There's also a key to insects down here, and you're welcome to use any guides you already have, your biology book, or anything you find online to help you identify organisms. And what you're going to try to do is try to identify as many of these organisms as you possibly can. Now let's look at a few of the rules, the ground rules for this. Students will work in groups of 3 or 4, and you'll try to find and identify as many of the following organisms and ecological categories as possible. Photograph the organisms with yourself in view or a quarter, and if you don't have a quarter, then use the top of this paper in the picture, okay, where it has this scale bar of 5 centimeters. But photograph the organism with yourself in view or with a quarter next to the organism without handling the organism if possible. We don't want to be picking up critters too much, and we don't want to be picking mushrooms or anything like that, or grabbing turtles, right? We're not going to do that. So put each item on its own PowerPoint slide and label the top of the slide with what the organism is, and use the category as shown here on the sheet. And what you can also do is draw arrows on your PowerPoint or Google slide. If you have to label parts, draw arrows and put a text box in and label what they're seeing. So there's several categories here that involve plant terminology, animal terms, plant parts, animal terms, a couple of keying questions for your for identifying plants, insect types, so if you find various kinds of insects, you can get their pictures, and ecological categories. So for example, one of these creatures up here could count for its identification as well for a proper ecological category. Okay, so they could count twice but you have to tell the instructor that on your slideshow, otherwise it won't count. So for example, if you have a bug that is also a pollinator, you have to say that it is order Hymenoptera and a pollinator on the top of the slide with its picture. Your pictures have to be clear and in focus in order to count as well. Okay, and once again, we're trying not to grab critters as much as we can. We're not going to pick plants, really. We're going to take pictures of them in place. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to turn that PowerPoint in to your instructor, maybe as a PDF or as a PowerPoint file, and the group that gets the most critters is going to get a perfect score, and everyone else in your class will be scaled after that group. And you can talk to your instructor on their exact plan of grading, but that's typically how it's done. Okay, so that's how this lab's going to go. You'll go out to the nature reserve, you'll try to find as many of these things as you can, and you'll turn in a PowerPoint with photographs of everything that you found. Try not to trample everything, try not to pick things, and have a good time out there. Be safe. Watch the video on insect identification, because it also has a safety video on there, things to watch out for in the nature reserve. All right, have fun, everybody. Have a good week. And enjoy the reserve rain or shine, by the way.